What's up guys, it's Nico here back with another video. Since all of the star free agents have signed with their respective teams already, most of the rosters have already been set ready to complement the players they currently have at their disposal. Some teams may have lost an all-star that they once had in the roster, but that doesn't mean those teams will be falling off the standings. Naturally, a lot of players will step up when given the opportunity. That's why in this video, we'll be talking about the 8 players that I think will break out this season. Before anything else, I'll be giving a total of 3 2K20 giveaways this upcoming September, and the only thing you have to do to join the giveaway is follow me on my Twitter at Pacific Hoops. The word hoops has 3 O's in it, so don't forget. I'll put all of those who followed me on Twitter at a randomizer to determine who the winner would be. Again, follow me now on Twitter to have a chance at winning the next 2K game. With that out of the way, on to the video. At number 8 is Lonzo Ball. Now that Lonzo is out of the spotlight and pressure that comes in playing for the Lakers, and most especially LeBron James, Ball will now have the opportunity to play in New Orleans without the pressure of immediately winning a championship. It's safe to say that Lonzo struggled in his time with the Lakers, but the flashes of greatness is still there. His 3-point shooting and free throws need some work, but everything else including his defense is already there. He hasn't lived up to the future Hall of Fame point guard that Magic Johnson bestowed upon him, but this change of scenery might just do the trick. In New Orleans, I'm pretty confident that Coach Alvin Gentry will be able to use him properly and let Lonzo operate in a system that suits his strengths, which is playing in transition. He'll be surrounded by another great young promising player in Brandon Ingram and a generational talent in Zion Williamson. Given the freedom to play and commit mistakes without judgment, I believe Lonzo will be able to increase his numbers overall in New Orleans and be a dark horse candidate for Most Improved Player of the Year. At number 7 is Mitchell Robinson. When I think of Mitchell Robinson, I think of defense. More specifically, highlight reel blocks. This guy averaged 2.4 blocks in just only 20 minutes per game. If you adjust that to per 36 numbers, that block average rises up to 4.3 blocks a game. That would be number 1 in the league if he indeed played around the 30-minute range. I really hope David Fisdale starts Mitch at the center spot and not let Bobby Portis eat up his minutes, since this kid is just 21 years old and the Knicks have nothing to play for anyway. The Knicks were lucky to have found a highly valued prospect that fell into their laps after he went under the radar since he didn't play in the NCAA or in another professional league. Since most of the free agents the Knicks signed are either wings or power forwards, Robinson will almost certainly lock up the starting job at the center spot for the Knicks and achieve career highs as his minutes will surely rise up as well. The only thing he needs to work on is keeping himself out of foul trouble, since that was the main factor on why he only played 20 minutes per game last year. For more reference, according to basketballreference.com, he averaged 5.7 fouls per 36 minutes during his rookie season. With an expanded role and a year's worth of experience, expect Robinson to reach new heights in almost every category, and most especially his defensive stats. At number 6 is Bam Adebayo. Now that the Heat officially traded Hassan Whiteside, Bam Adebayo has no other significant competitors to start over him at the center spot for Miami. He already averaged more minutes than him last year because of Whiteside's falling out with Coach Spoelstra, but that's a different topic. Now the de facto center for the Heat this upcoming year and the future, Adebayo will be allocated more minutes and have the chance to be able to increase his stats significantly. As you can see from his highlights, Adebayo is a center who is incredibly athletic, most often is the one energizing the Heat with his jaw-dropping plays and intensity every time he steps on the court. His numbers last year may not impress a lot of people, but with his minutes expected to rise to the 30 to the 34 range, expect him to average at least 12 points and 10 rebounds a night, with at least 1 steal and a block a game. At just 21 years old, Bam needs a lot of reps in order to become the two-way player that everyone expected him to be, but luckily for him, this season could be the year where he finally breaks out. He's one of the hardest working players in the Heat, so I have no doubts that he'll emerge as a starting quality center in the league as soon as the upcoming season rolls around and be able to get everyone's attention if he still hasn't done that yet. At number 5 is Trey Young. The runner-up for the Rookie of the Year will almost certainly play with a chip on his shoulder after losing out on the award to Luka Doncic. Luckily for him, the Hawks have rebuilded quite nicely and made sure that the pieces they're adding to the squad complements Trey Young and John Collins. With a year's worth of NBA experience under his belt, Young now knows what to expect from teams who are guarding him and be able to build off from his spectacular first year in the NBA, wherein he averaged 19.1 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 8.1 assists. This news didn't come as a surprise, but I think you guys should know this. According to GM Travis Schlenk, the Hawks will be giving more minutes to Trey Young and John Collins next season, since they are looked at as the main building blocks for this young Atlanta team, which means improvements across all the board and should play somewhere around 35 minutes range. If everything goes well with this development, expect Young to average more than 20 points a game heading into next season. At number 4 is Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. was one of the best rookies in last year's class and was even a dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year, but had to sit the last remaining games of the season because of a quad injury he suffered. Now fully healthy and with the team handling over the reins of the franchise to him, Jackson Jr. will be one of the focal points for the Memphis Grizzlies as they officially kickstart the first season without the grit and grind players in Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. He already had promising numbers with Memphis last year, with averages of 13.8 points on 50.6% shooting and 35.9% from 3 along with 1.4 blocks per game. Since he'll most likely be the first option, expect those numbers to rise up significantly if he doesn't get himself in foul trouble. That's one of the few things that he should work on if he wants to play more this year. Not only that, Jackson will be able to elevate his play since he now has Ja Morant in the backcourt whose main skill is passing the ball. With the perfect running mate in Ja Morant, expect Jackson Jr. to crush new career highs this year and cement himself as the face of the Grizzlies for years to come. At number 3 is Brandon Ingram. The incoming fourth-year player has faced scrutiny ever since entering the NBA, since he had unfair comparisons to Kevin Durant right even before he played a minute in the regular season. Luckily for Ingram, he was starting to come into his own last year with the LeBron James-led Lakers and was looking like a number 1 option, especially when James was out with an injury. He was scoring from all kinds of looks the defense was giving him, making and creating plays for his teammates, and was finally consistent with his 3-point shots. Ingram was averaging 23 points, shot 57% from the field, and made 38% of his 3-point shots in the last 15 games he played right before going down with the blood clots complication. Now that he's far away from the spotlight and attention from the media, I believe Ingram will be able to showcase what he can do on a nightly basis with the Pelicans. Those numbers that he registered in his last 15 games with the Lakers could be the new norm for him in New Orleans. With David Griffin stating that they will slowly ease in Zion into the system they're building, I expect Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday to take care of the load for the majority of the year as Zion looks for his footing in the NBA. Ingram will be able to build off from last year's development and could be one of those players who can be considered for most improved as well. At number 2 is Lauri Markkanen. Honestly, one of my most favorite players in the NBA because of the way he reminds me of a young Dirk Nowitzki. Markkanen can either rain bombs from the 3-point line or punish you from the inside depending on what the defense gives him, and that's why I think he can be a future All-Star one day. Entering his 3rd year in the league, the Bulls will be expecting him to raise up his game even more now that they're looking like a team that can potentially be a playoff team in the East. Adding Kobe White, Tomas Satoransky, and Thad Young just fast-tracks the rebuild, and the Bulls expect Lauri to be one of those guys responsible in getting them back to the postseason. Zach LaVine has already taken significant improvements back in his days with the Timberwolves and could be an all-star this year since the Eastern Conference doesn't have much superstars compared to how it was before. With 3 years of experience in the NBA, Markkanen can be the second potential all-star the Bulls might develop since he has enough touches to make an impact in the games. Although he still needs to work on his field goal shooting, which was a direct result of attempting almost 7 shots a game from 3-point line. If he manages to balance out his inside and outside shots, then this year could be the season wherein he can average 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. With making the playoffs being the next goal, Markkanen is determined to make an impact this season and be the running mate to Zach LaVine for the foreseeable future. And at number 1 is Pascal Siakam. Fresh off winning the NBA Championship and Most Improved Player award, some of you guys may think that you already have seen the best of Pascal Siakam last year. So why him? Well, Kawhi Leonard has already left for the sunny beaches of Los Angeles, and naturally the next best option that Toronto has is Pascal Siakam. Kyle Lowry is already way too old in scoring 20 plus points a game. Ditto for Marc Gasol, whose ceiling at this point of his career is the 3rd best player on a championship team. In the finals, wherein he was the second option, Siakam was able to register 19.8 points a game on 50% field goal shooting. Great numbers for a two-way player who's emerging as one of the sure locks for an all-star spot in the Eastern Conference next season. Kawhi's departure also gives Siakam a chance to be more of a leader and learn from the likes of Kyle Lowry and Marc Gasol, who have been through a lot in their careers. It's no secret that he will be the main focal point for their offense next season, and there's proof that he can elevate his numbers even without a superstar playing alongside him. When Kawhi Leonard was resting in the regular season, Siakam was able to average 19 points and 9 rebounds a game. If he manages to pump that to 20 points and 10 rebounds a game this year, then we'll definitely see him in the next All-Star game. Who else do you think will break out this season that I forgot to mention? Let me know in the comment section below so that I can check your answers out. As always, if you enjoy watching more content like this, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and we will meet again. For everyone who subscribed already, I just want to say thanks again for the continuous support, and I'll continue to make quality videos for you guys every chance I get. This is Pacific Hoops, signing off.